First thing Gail's going to do is she's going to look at the cage of the dog that's in there. She's going to read the cage card, see if there's any special needs on this dog, make sure that if she's friendly, that she can go in and she can handle her, make sure that she's not afraid when Gail approaches the cage. She's not barking at her. Obviously, she's happily eating a bone, and again, that's a dog you don't want to approach because she has a bone. To clean the cages, the first thing she's going to do is she's going to shut the guillotine door so that she has access to one side of the cage where the dog can't get to her, so she can clean the cage, that side of the cage easier.
So I'll bring the dog out.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to get the dog outside so that she can clean the inside. And generally what you have to do is that's a two-person job. The person in the outside calls the dog out, and then we'll shut the guillotine door so the dog is outside and can't access the inside while you're cleaning. And this is Abby. Now that she's outside, it's safe for us to open up the cage and start taking it apart. So Gail will come back in. She's going to take the water bucket out and dump it. Wash it out and put in fresh water. She'll take the food dish out, put it aside, and she'll lift up the bedding, and if the bedding needs to be cleaned or changed, she'll get new bedding and put it into the run once she's done cleaning. She's going to make up a bucket of disinfectant, which usually is our bleach and water, and get that ready. She has cleaned everything out of the dog run to make sure that everything is working. Sometimes there might be food or material on the floor. We want to sweep that out before because all of the water goes into the drain and you don't want to clog up our drain, so you have to make sure everything is swept out of the run first. So she'll make up a solution of bleach and water. And she'll come over, and the dog bed will be in the run itself too. Sometimes it may get dirty, so she will take and scrub the dog bed with a bleach and water solution. And sometimes the walls need it. If the dogs are outside the muddy area, they come in and they jump all over the walls, so we have to scrub down the wall. She'll scrub down the floor of the kennel with the bleach and water solution. And then once it's all scrubbed, she'll go over, get the hose, turn the hose on, and rinse down the entire run. And the way these runs work, they are on a slant, and they all slant to the center run. The pitch of the cement is so that the water runs off and goes down into the drain. So as she's rinsing down the water, it all goes down to the top and filters down into the drain. So she washes down. Once she's let it go for a few minutes, the disinfectant solution will rinse down the entire run. She'll take what we call a squeegee and push all the water down into the drain, the drain plug. She'll dry off the dog bed and then place it back in the run along with fresh blankets. Again, we put the same things that were in the cage back because we don't want to use those materials on another animal, just in case the animal that's in that cage has something that might be contagious. We like to keep them everything the same. And then when she's all done, she makes sure the dog has the proper amount of water and food. The food should be the diet that's necessary for that pet. She would obviously have looked on the cage, see that it's an adult dog. She would get the dog food, which is in the closet, fill the bowl halfway with the food, and make sure that the water is filled at least 2/3 full in the bucket. clean water. And she shuts the cage, she puts blankets in. Some cages, you'll want to look on the front of the cage because we have some dogs that can't have certain things in their cage, being blankets or sometimes toys, because they're very destructive and they'll chew them and it can cause an intestinal problem if they do. So she knows that this dog obviously doesn't have a problem because she's giving him blankets, and she'll probably give him a couple of chew toys, but we have to be careful. Certain dogs can't have those things because they will ingest them, and since we're not here all the time to watch them, we may not know that they did. Then she shuts the cage door, make sure all the proper locks are on it. We have a special lock that goes on the cage so that if they would flip open the latch, there's a safety mechanism so that they still can't get out, they can't actually flip open the latch. And then once the dog is cleaned on the inside, the dog run is clean on the inside, she opens the gate and lets the dog back in, and that side is clean. Now, she would also need to clean the outside run, and the way she would do that is once the dog has come back into the run, she would shut the guillotine door again from the inside, and then she can safely go outside and open up the runs and wash those runs. And then when she's done, same procedure. She washes with the bleach and water solution, rinses it down, squeegees the run. Don't necessarily need to dry it with a towel, but you want to make sure it's thoroughly squeegeed so the dogs don't slip on the wet cement. And then she shuts the gate and locks the dog in. That way she never has to actually interact and get in the cage with the dog unless you're sure that the dog is safe to be able to do that. We have the signs on the cages that say caution for your safety, keep your hands away. That's generally for the public coming in, and the reason why is because people don't understand a lot of these dogs are in here and they are scared. They don't know you. You're a stranger, and so we want to make sure that the public is safe. The very end run, if you want to look at the end run, that one says quarantine, keep away, do not touch, do not let out. An animal sometimes will be in here under quarantine for 10 days because it may have bitten somebody or is a nasty animal, an animal that's vicious. And they may be in here for a reason we don't know, but generally if it's in that cage, the volunteer should not handle it, should not go over and try and pet it or do anything until they know what the circumstances are. And usually it's listed on the cage not to handle it. And those animals, generally the animal control officer takes care of. So this is the outside exercise area for the dog. These runs are individual. They're attached to the inside run. So what Gail's going to do now is she's going to take one of the dogs out of the run and bring it into the outside exercise pen. They go out by as individuals and not with other dogs unless we know that they're okay to be with other dogs. This is Sully, our mascot, and she's going to take him out to the area for exercise. It's a larger pen. There's balls and toys outside. And again, she brings him out by leash so that we don't have any escapees.